Hi guys, welcome back to Chess the Matthew. So on this video, I will show you on how to win in the BARNES opening in just 11 moves. So the BARNES opening start with the move f3 and with the reply of black, which is the move e5. So here after release f3, there is blunder move here if the white will foolishly have some kingside expansion with the move g4, because here the black will win in just two moves with the move queen to h4. We shall see that now the king was checked by the queen, and the king can no longer escape to the check, and he cannot either capture these cheating pieces. So in just two moves, the black may win on this kind of opening, on the BARNES opening. But here after f3 e5, I simply play the move c4, which is the idea is to control the light square with my pawns on f3 and c4. So that was my idea on this kind of opening, and here my opponent just developed his kingside knight, which is to play the move knight to f6 vacating square, so that later on after this bishop will be developed and he may now put his king into safety. And here I control first the light square with the move knight to c3, so we shall see now that my knight and pawn are still looking and controlling to the light squares on the center. So here again my opponent just follow his idea and completing his development on the king side with the move bishop to c5. So we shall see now that after bishop to c5, it vacates now the f8, and on the next move the black now can castle and put his king to safety, and he can now start an attack to my uncastled king on the center. So still I go for my idea and controlling the light square on the center while watching to the black's king to where he will go, and I play the move queen to c2, again still controlling the center with the queen. And here my opponent now castle on the king side, and he was now preparing to have some attack because his king now is on the safe square. So here I set step first my knight against the bishop at c5, so that after knight h3, and for example I can push my pawn here and develop my bishop on e2, and I can also castle on the king side. But here the black now start an attack on the king side with the move queen to e7, eyeing for the e5 control with his rook later on this 8, and with an idea maybe to push his pawn on e4 to open center, because my king is still on the center, so it feels now the danger of not castling. So here after queen to e7, I now play the move a3, going for my idea that vacating also this king side and developing my bishop on the e2 so that I can now castle. And here my opponent just played the move rook e8 and eyeing for an e4 push and opening the center because my king still on the center. So I develop with my bishop on e2 and eyeing now for castling on the king side. And here my opponent start an attack with the move e4. So we shall see that this e4 pawn has 3 defenders. So in exchange on that pawn will lead to an equality. For example, I take now with my pawn and knight takes, queen takes, and queen takes e4, and rook takes e4. So we shall see that on this position the material is still balanced with the pawns and the pieces. And here even though the white here can castle on the king side, and after knight c6 of black, even though I captured that pawn and winning some pawn on this position, but after rook takes e3 and rook takes d7 check, and after king takes d7, d takes e3, d6, and after knight f4, knight b4, eyeing for attacking knight and this pawn, but still there is just bishop d1, and after bishop to f5. Although I win a pawn here, but we shall see in this position that my pieces was on a passive position, while the black now is smoothly going for a massive development and attacking the white's position. So going back after e4, here I simply just play the move knight to g5, eyeing for just an additional attack on the e4, because we shall see in this position that it has now 4 attackers versus the 3 defenders. So here my opponent now was obliged to capture my f3. Here I paused for a while and I was thinking that after capture here and maybe the castle, but still it is on the verge of equalities. So I thought on this position that my knight was now on an aggressive square that attacking these pawns of black. So I add some attack on the king side of black with the move knight to d5, and we should see in this position that this knight attacks now both queen and knight. And here after, for example, if my opponent will just play the move f2 giving a check, and after king f1 I can just play the move d4, and if this bishop will retreat, then there is a fork to the queen and bishop, so he was now obliged to capture that pawn. And after he takes d4, g6, and king takes f2, knight takes, c takes d5, and queen takes d5, and rook d1. We shall see in this position that the white still have an extra pawn as position, even though he sidestepped for the move 9 on f2. And rather than playing full block, he actually blundered with the knight takes d5 on his position. And here I saw on this position that I can deliver checkmate in just 2 moves. After queen takes h7, so this queen was defended by the knight, so I cannot capture my queen. And after king f8 and queen h8, checkmate, because the queen cannot be captured by the black pieces, and the king can no longer escape to the check. He cannot cover, so on his position, the black now is checkmated after 11 moves. So going back, just a recap, in just 11 moves, I win in the BARNES opening after f3, e5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe.